Okay, welcome to our exercise session, which is choosing the right laptop. So I will be your speaker today. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box, and I will try my best to solve them all up after this session. Okay. So once again, I'm Mike, and I'm not sure if you guys know me. And feel free to follow me. Follow me at my Facebook, my Keyline, and my Instagram. Okay. So, all right. So before we start the talk, let me have a quick check first. So, are you satisfied with your current laptop, or do you regret choosing it? Yeah. Like, are you happy with your current laptop? Is it serving you well, or is it like maybe lag or something else? Feel free to write your opinions, okay, in your chat box. Looking forward to your answer. It's quite laggy, okay. A bit regret on my previous one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I also heard a lot of friends saying that, yeah, my new laptop is very laggy, it's not suitable for me, and many more. Yeah. Others? I guess you guys are quite shy, right? Okay, never mind. Let me go to another slide first. Okay. So actually, finding a laptop is easy because like you can just go online or offline, just find a laptop and buy it. But finding a good price to performance ratio laptop is actually quite hard. Like you want to find something that is suitable to your need. Okay, suitable to your requirement. Yeah, it's quite hard. Okay. So okay, how to choose the best laptop for yourself? And mind you, we will look into Windows PC today instead of Mac OS. But Mac OS, for those who want to choose Apple computer, okay, some of them will apply the same. All right. So now let's go. So the step one is to check your requirement. So what I mean here is that look. What I mean is that look at your requirements. Like, what are you going to use? Okay, like ask yourself, what will you use your laptop for? Let's say you want to use for play games, play what kind of games? Let's say Counter-Strike or GTA 5 and what's more, or if you want to use just to type reports, or you want to do some lab simulations, okay, or you use to code quite a lot, okay. So list out all your usage and any software if you or might use, okay, and determine how often your usage will be, like as an example below. Okay, I have mentioned just now. And one note is that you need to set your requirements further. Let's say you want to use your computer for 3 years. Okay, set your eyesight further. Okay, so step 2 is set your budget. So why I say roughly here is because there is not something like, okay, I want a 3,000 laptop, then this. No, it doesn't work that way. It will be something like, okay, I want this spec, but I will find those laptops that are ranged between 2015 to like 4,000 and 5,000. Yeah, it's normal. So don't set your budget too tight. Okay, give it a bit of room space, like maybe around 200 to 500 ringgit. Yeah, at some point, you can see that having a little bit loose budget, it lets you to choose better laptops. Okay, like don't just set it too tight. Right. And step 3 is go hunting. Okay, go online, go offline, and search your computer. And some keynotes is that aim for 3 or 4 brands instead of one. Like let's say you love Asus. Okay, but you just don't lock your target to Asus. Instead, you go and find a Acer, Lenovo, okay, a HP, and what's more. Okay, and search online and offline, as I mentioned, to widen your choice. And after you find them, note them down if you found them. Okay, and try to choose laptops that are priced near to your set budget limit. Let's say you set around 3,000. Okay, go for 3,000, or let's say 2,900. And if required, exceed your budget a little bit more. Let's say like 200, 300. Yeah, trust me, it's really worth it. Yeah. Okay, so when you are searching for a laptop, you see something like this, like, what is this? 50.6 in laptop black, what AMD Ryzen 5, why is this 4 GB on board? Some of you might know, but some of you might not know. Okay, so never mind. Let's go through them one by one today. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing you need to focus in your laptop is the CPU. Okay, the CPU is actually like the brain, like our brain. Yeah, it processes things. Okay, so there are actually two CPU manufacturers nowadays, which are AMD and Intel, and both of them produce actually quite a lot of CPUs, and each of them has its own unique name. Okay, so I guess you guys saw this kind of name, right? Like what Intel Core i5 1135G7 or like Ryzen 5500U, right? But actually, there are quite a lot of meaning in their names. Okay, so now let's look at the first one, Intel AMD. Okay, so as I mentioned, their CPU manufacturer name. How about Core and Ryzen? So actually, Core and Ryzen is the CPU's family name. Okay, so now I will show you what are the families in both Intel and AMD. Okay, so for Intel, we actually have Atom, which is the weakest. Okay, we go to the next is the Celeron. Okay, third one is Pentium, and the stronger one is Core. Actually, we still have something called Xeon, but that one is for desktop usage. Okay, mostly a laptop that doesn't use that much. Okay, for AMD, we have Athlon and Ryzen, which is the strongest. In AMD, we also have something equivalent to Xeon. We call that Threadripper, but that's also available in desktop only. Okay, and for today, we will focus on this family only, okay, which is a Core and the Ryzen. Okay, the third one is i5 5. I think you guys heard that, right? Like Core i5, i7, i3. Okay, they are CPU family lineup. Okay, so both Intel Core and AMD Ryzen have identical family lineup, which you can see here, i3, Ryzen 3, Core i5, Ryzen 5, and what's more. But actually, they serve different purpose. Okay, so for i3 and Ryzen 3, they are actually for daily office usage, like maybe like do some reports, okay, watch some movies, and play some light gaming, like maybe like 2D games or Mario or whatever. Okay, so i5 and Ryzen 5 will be more suitable for moderate gaming. Okay, like maybe you want to play GTA 5. Yeah, so something demanding. And you can also do some like multimedia editing. Okay, Core i7 and Ryzen 7 will be like better than i5, stronger than i5, and of course more expensive than i5. But they are for serious gaming if you want to like, you want every performance out of it, okay? Or you want to do something like a big project. What means that a big movie project? Yeah, go for i7. And Core i9 and Ryzen 9, I don't think you guys will go over here lah, because there's too extreme. It's much advanced and better than i7. I don't think you guys need that. Yeah. Okay, so the fourth one is generation indicator, which you can see here after the family lineup. Okay, this one is 11, this one is 5. So the higher the value, the newer it is. Like now, Intel has already launched the 12th generation, 12th generation core series. So for the new CPU, this should be 12. Okay, and same goes to Ryzen. The latest generation is 6000 series. Yeah, so this one should be 6. Okay, so this one is actually old already. Yeah, and the next one is SKU numeric DC. So this one is just like how to say, it's like to differentiate. Okay, to differentiate between each CPU. Like this one is 35, but other CPU like 40, 45, 50. So they are quite a lot. And the higher the number, the better the performance is. And same goes to the Ryzen. Okay. And the last one is product line suffix, where you can see here. Okay, so for CPU, right, they need to like a variety of CPU, right, like to serve different purpose. Okay, so now let's see here. Okay, the first one is Y series. So Y series is only available in Intel. AMD didn't have that, and Y series is extremely low power. Okay, it's very power efficient, but the problem is it's very low performance. Okay, and the second one is U series, which you can see commonly on Intel and AMD. Okay, like our older CPU, like the Core i5 8250U, yeah, something like that, and the AMD Ryzen 5 5500U. Yeah, so they are quite They are quite powerful compared to Y series, but they are still quite weak now. Okay, I would say they are still quite weak, and they also quite power efficient. Yeah, and the next one is G series, like what we saw just now. So we saw just now is G7, right? So this one actually is similar to U, but they have more powerful graphics processor. Yeah, so this one only Intel have it. Okay, so for the last one is H series, which is for high performance. Okay, this one you can get most performance out of these three, but it will consume more power lah. And AMD and Intel will have it. Okay. So what determines CPU performance? So there are three things you need to take note. Okay, the first thing is clock count, second one is core count, and third one is cache size. And clock speed. Sorry, clock speed actually is it measures the number of cycles your CPU execute per second, like in 1 second, how many billion, should I say billion or million, okay, cycles it can process the instruction. Okay, it's mostly measured in gigahertz. Yeah, so it's something like 2 gigahertz, 3.6 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. Yeah. So the higher the clock speed, the better the CPU's performance. And because of this theory, actually nowadays CPU has turbo boost technology, okay, to boost the clock speed even higher for short periods of time. Why short periods of time? Because higher boost actually produce more heat. Yeah. And the second thing is core count, where the core count is the number of cores your CPU has. It's like having more than one brains instead of one. Yeah, you can process more than one task simultaneously. Yeah. And with more cores, more tasks can be processed at a time, as I mentioned, and it increases the CPU's efficiency and performance. Okay, and the third one will be CPU cache. So CPU cache is like RAM, but it is directed, but is integrated into the CPU. Okay, so this cache actually lets the CPU to retrieve data efficiently compared to RAM. And you don't need to concern on this cache size actually, because cache size will be based on how powerful your CPU is. You can just ignore it. Okay. So how can I check the CPU specification? So for Intel, I provided the link here. No worries, I will provide you my PDF later to you. Okay. And for AMD, okay, the link is here. So here you can just go into the website, type your CPU, okay, and see the what is that, the spec, okay, of the CPU. Okay. So there's some free flash to you, where the first one is actually normal laptops or ultrabooks has U series CPU because they are quite thin. Okay, they are quite thin. One way is that their heat absorption, okay, from CPU is actually quite limited. So they will have U series CPU to save as much power as possible. And gaming and content creation laptops has H series CPU because they are more towards performance, like gaming, okay, content creation. Okay, so they will need to have better CPU performance. So they will use H series. And one interesting fact is that games love higher clock speed. Yeah, while content creation software prefers more core count. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Hope you guys know that. Okay, so what I advise of getting a CPU? So at least get a 10th generation Intel core, like for 2022, because 10th generation is like 2 generations old already, or AMD Ryzen 4000 series CPU. Because the older the generation is, the less efficient it is. Yeah, and in fact, like Windows 11, right? It doesn't support CPU older than the 8th generation Intel Core or the Ryzen 3000 series. I'm using Ryzen 2000 series and I have no luck upgrading to Windows 11. Yeah, and the second one is that no matter how low is your budget, get a Core i3 or Ryzen 3. Try not to get a Celeron, Atom, or Athlon. Yeah, it's just too weak for you. Trust me. Yeah, and if you want to just use for everyday tasks like document typing, web surfing, gaming, okay, some casual gaming, and some light content creation tasks, maybe you want to do your video presentation. You want to edit it. Core i5 or Ryzen 5 is actually enough. Okay, but if you you are studying DMT, okay, you are demanding more for content creation, or you want to gain more, you want more performance, go for i7 or Ryzen 7. And if you feel that Core i7 or Ryzen 7 is not enough, go for i9, go for Ryzen 9. Okay. So if you have any games or software you want to specifically note down, like let's say you want to use Adobe Premiere Pro, you want to play Call of Duty, okay, go Google their system requirements. Okay, you just type, let's say I want to play Call of Duty. Okay, I can just type a Call of Duty system requirements. Okay, and inside it will show you the minimum and recommended system requirements. And it's best to determine your CPU by looking at the recommended system requirements, not minimum, because minimum is actually quite low. Okay, it's not future proof enough. Okay. And the next one we will go to RAM. So I guess you guys know RAM, right? It's like a short-term memory. Okay. So if you go through Lazada, Shopee, you go to a shop and find those laptops, mostly they will describe the RAM like this: 8 gigabytes DDR4, 2666 megahertz. So this 8 gigabytes is actually the total installed memory size, the memory size, and the bigger the value, the more tasks your laptop can handle lah. Okay. So the second one, DDR is actually double data rate. Is just a name for the RAM. So we won't focus on these technical things lah. Huh? So nowadays laptop we use DDR4 lah. Okay, and the newer one is DDR5. It's quite expensive and is not that famous yet. Yeah, because it's quite new. And new generation means higher RAM speed because it's newer. Okay. And the third one is RAM speed. So RAM speed is also measured in hertz. Okay. So the higher the RAM speeds, the faster your laptop CPU can acquire data from it. So this one is actually you can say not so important, but it makes a difference in improving your laptop's performance. Okay. And the fourth one is this, the onboard upgradable to 20 gig. So this one is to determine, sorry, if your laptop's RAM can be changed, upgraded in the future. Like let's say you got onboard only. Okay. So onboard actually means the RAM is stored into the main board, and mostly you can't upgrade it because it just stored. Okay, you cannot just go ahead like, okay, I want to desolder and resolder. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. The next one is 8 gig upgradable to 16 gig. So if they mention upgradable, that means okay, your laptop will have swappable RAM slot. Okay, you can just upgrade it. Okay, and sorry for typo. It should be 16 gig. Okay. And if you say 8 gig on board up to 20 gig, so that means that 8 gig of RAM is stored to the main board. It's permanent, but you will have a free RAM slot and you can upgrade your total memory to 20 gig. Okay, so take note on this. And some sellers describe this too. This is what we call cast latency. I don't think many of you will see this. We mostly see this when we need to choose the gaming laptops and gaming PC. And it actually measures how quickly the RAM serves up the request data, and we won't focus on it because it's not important for now. Okay, and there are two common types of RAM, just for information, which is called DIMM and SODIMM. So both of them are also RAM, but DIMM is for desktop purpose. Okay, and SODIMM is for laptops because laptop is quite small. So laptop we use SODIMM. So next time if you want to buy RAM, okay, don't get the wrong RAM, yeah. Get SODIMM for your laptop. Okay. And for RAM, right, I advise to get at least 8 gig. Seriously, 4 gig is not enough because applications are getting more and more heavier, and so does Windows. 4 gig is not enough at all. Okay, and if you got play some games and you could do a bit of live content creation, you can just go from 12 gig to 16 gig, okay, of memory. And if you need to do a lot of simulations, okay, like their students will often do the simulation, like for example airflow or whatever, if you use a lot of RAM, okay, and if you are DMT student, okay, you can go over 16 gig, okay, and try to choose laptop with upgradable RAM. Don't choose onboard only, because if you choose onboard only, you cannot upgrade it. Like let's say after 3 years, you need to use 16 gig, but sadly your laptop only has 8 gig. It's not upgradable, so you need to throw your laptop away. Yeah. So of money lah. And some additional advice is to follow your laptop supported RAM speed, as I mentioned just now, the 2660 megahertz. So actually, for here, right, you can go over the laptop supported RAM speed, but the thing is that your laptop will just follow its own supported RAM speed. Like if you buy 3200 to put in a CPU that only supports 2400, sorry, 2400, it just won't work lah. Okay, and each laptop CPU has maximum supported memory size. So for this one, right, you can see from the CPU spec. Okay, and the third one is graphics card. Okay, GPU, and it's render graphics to your screen lah. Okay, and there are actually two types of GPU in laptops. The first one is integrated GPU, which we call iGPU, and is required in every laptop because if you need to render everything, okay, like while you open, while you're interacting with, it needs to render to your screen, and mostly is weaker than dedicated GPU. So dedicated GPU is something like if you heard it before, like NVIDIA GeForce, like GTX 1050 Ti, 1060 Ti, something like that. That one is dedicated GPU. Okay, so iGPU is mostly power efficient and cheaper. Okay, so on the other hand, the DGPU is not primary, so it's optional. If you want it, you can get it. If you don't want it, just ignore it. Okay, it's way stronger than iGPU, and it consumes more power and is more expensive. And generally, iGPU is mostly used for light usage, like you want to play some Mario games, as I mentioned, you want to watch some movies, no problem. But DGPU can be used for gaming, okay, and content creation because it has a lot more power. Okay, and fun fact, you can actually play heavy games and edit video with your iGPU too. Like you can play GTA 5 by using your using your Intel GPU, but you won't like it. You'll be laggy. Yeah, very laggy. And there are two main DGPU manufacturers, which are AMD and NVIDIA. And because NVIDIA is more well known, okay, today we will look into the NVIDIA, and same as the CPUs, both manufacturers produce many DGPUs, and each of them has their own unique name. Okay, and the first one here, NVIDIA, is actually GPU manufacturer name. Okay, as I mentioned just now. So GPU family name. So this CForce is actually the family name, and another family name for NVIDIA, I think, is Titan, but that one is for desktop lah. It's much more powerful than GeForce. The third one is GPU prefix. Okay, this RTX, you heard it before, like RTX, GTX, MX. Okay, so actually MX is for entry level GPU. Mostly you can get this in budget laptop, like let's say 2000 something ringgit laptop. Okay, it's more power efficient and lower performance. And GTX is gaming GPU. You guys heard that before, right? GTX, okay, is better than MX, but GTX is quite old lah. And RTX is also a gaming GPU. Is an improved version from GTX, and it also has ray tracing. Okay, it's just newer and better than GTX. And Titan, which I mentioned just now, is top of the line, but sadly is not available for laptop because it's just very power consuming. Okay, so the next one is GPU generation, like what, a 1050 Ti, 2060, 3060, like this. Okay, so this, the higher number means newer GPU generation, which means better performance because the technology is better. Okay, so the next one, this 70, is GPU market segment. So for this one, right, the higher the number, the better the GPU performance. Yeah, it's quite simple. And some GPUs have Ti included, like GTX 1080 Ti, and this Ti is actually stronger than 1080 itself. Okay, you can take note of that. And the next one is GPU version, which is called which we have here, Max Q, and we also have another one called Max P. But not all GPU have this. Like for example, I have RTX 2060. It doesn't have anything like Max Q or Max P. Yeah, so it depends. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are two types. Max Q is for quiet, Max-P is for performance, and Max-Q is Max-Q is mostly for those teeny design laptops, and it runs slower than normal Max-P GPU, and it saves more power and runs cooler. And on the other hand, Max-P, which is for performance, we run at full speed, but it will run hotter and consumes more power lah. And a quick note here, GPU without specific version, as I mentioned just now, for my RTX 2060, will be assumed as having Max-P. Okay. So the last one, this 8GB thing, is actually video memory. Yeah, dedicated GPU has their own video memory, but the integrated GPU actually relies on your laptop's RAM. Like let's say your laptop got 12GB of RAM. Maybe your iGPU will take maybe like 2GB from it. Yeah. And performance of mobile GPUs can be predicted just by their names. Okay, we can just look at here and determine whether it is good or not. Okay, so we usually don't have to dig deeper lah, like unlike a CPU. Okay, CPU is more complex lah. And for GPU, right? Actually, if you don't game at all, or you didn't edit videos or whatsoever, actually having iGPU is enough lah. Okay, if you need a DGPU, try to aim for newer generation, like let's say RTX 20 something or RTX 30 something. GTX 10 something is quite old already lah, so it's more it's all about future proof lah. And the third one is set your GPU choice a bit higher than your games, okay, or your software recommendation system requirement. Like for example, let's say my Premiere Pro needs GTX 1060, okay. So for the future proof purpose, I can get GTX 1070 or like RTX 2060, RTX 2070. Yeah, it's more expensive a bit lah, but it's worth it. That is worth it. And the fourth one is storage. Is pretty self-explanatory. It saves your data. So there are two types of storage. The first one is hard disk, and the second one is SSD. And hard disk is quite old already in terms of technology. It has higher capacity than SSD. It's cheaper, but it's more prone to physical damage. Like you can't vibrate it violently, or you will damage it. And it has slower speed because it just rely on the disk platter to read the data. While SSD is much more newer, but the problem is they have smaller capacity. But nowadays they have bigger ones like 1 TB, 2 TB, but they are freaking expensive. Okay, but the good thing is they are less prone to physical damage, and they are way faster than the hard disk. Okay, so there are a few types of common SSD form factors. The first one is 2.5-inch SATA. The size is just like normal hard disk. Okay, it's like laptop hard disk, and usually its read speed is quite slow lah, like 560 megabyte only. And the next one is M.2, also in SATA. So M.2 is actually much more smaller than the 2.5-inch one. Okay, it's actually quite small only, like this. Okay, but the thing is that the interface is still SATA, SATA. So their speed will be limited to 560 megabits per second. And another one is M.2 NVMe. NVMe is way faster than SATA, and NVMe got 4 generations already until now, and the latest one, the 4th generation, can actually go up to 4,000 something megabits per second. That's really fast. Yeah. And for storage, right, go and get a laptop with SSD. Yeah, it's very highly recommended, and you will be happy getting it. Okay, and if possible, go for M.2 NVMe storage. Okay, it's faster. But if you're concerned by your budget, you can also get SATA SSD lah. Yeah, it's a bit slow, but it's still faster than hard disk. Okay, so the next one is choose the 256GB SSD as a minimum, and of course, higher SSD capacity is always better. Okay, and nowadays some laptops have SSD and hard disk combo. Sorry, SSD and hard disk combo, and consider this if you want more storage on the budget. And the last one is don't worry, because laptop storage can be upgraded or changed. Okay, and the fifth one is display. Okay, so it's also quite self-explanatory because displays information to you. Okay, so there are actually three common types of display panel. I'm not sure if you guys have heard it before. The first one is TN or TFT. Okay, the second one is IPS. The third one is VA or SVA. So TN produce average color quality, while IPS produce good color quality, while VA or SVA has a better quality than TN, but still behind IPS. Okay, and TN has narrow viewing angle. IPS has a much wider angle. Same goes to VA. Okay, TN is cheaper. VA is more expensive than TN, but cheaper than IPS, and IPS is most expensive. And you can mostly find TN in TN panel in budget laptops. Okay, for IPS, right, nowadays more and more laptops are adapting to it already. And VA, right, they are mostly found in gaming laptops. Yeah, it's quite strange because okay, see here, TN and VA panel are high, can go up to higher refresh rate compared to IPS. I mean, for IPS, okay, we can also get a higher the what is it called, the refresh rate. But the thing is that it's very, very expensive. Okay, and for information with refresh rate, we call it hertz. Okay, it's a number of times the display refresh every second. For example, 60 hertz and 144 hertz. Okay, and the higher the refresh rate, the smoother your display will be, like especially the animation. Okay, it's much more fluid. Okay, and for display, right, if you don't care about display quality, TN panel is okay. Yeah, if you don't care at all. Okay, but if you care, get at least IPS or VA panel. Okay, especially if you like vivid color or you always work on content creation. And most laptop come with 60 Hz display panel lah. Okay, like our normal laptop. If you want extremely smooth display or gaming experience, go for higher refresh rate. But the thing is that higher refresh rate requires your GPU to pump harder because you need to pump more frames out, and you might have to get a better GPU. Okay, you have much further overhead. But hold up, screen size and resolution are actually also important. Yeah, screen size and resolution. So nowadays laptop have, like, you know, a 14-inch, 15.6-inch screen size. So you know, right, the bigger the number, the bigger your laptop is. But I suggest taking bigger screen size. Like for now, I'm also using 15.6-inch because your eyes will appreciate you. Okay, everything will be bigger. Okay, and what's more, you will also have bigger keyboards too. Like for 14-inch, you won't have number pad, but for 15.6-inch, mostly you will have the number pad. It's much more usable. Okay, and for the screen resolution, right? So I guess you guys know this, right? 1080p, 2K, 4K, 768p. Okay, so here I actually recommend at least getting 1080p lah. Okay, 768p is actually very, very ancient. It's like decades ago already. Okay, because the higher the resolution, okay, the more information you can see at the time. Okay, because your screen will be denser. Okay, there will be more info. Okay, you can get 2K and above, but the thing is that it will consume more power. Okay, they will affect your battery life lah, compared to 1080p. And the sixth one is webcam. I guess you all know, right? It's really important nowadays, especially we have online class now. Yeah. So for webcam, actually, it's all right lah. Okay. As long as it's there, it's fine. But if you can get HD webcam, it will be better lah. And when there is webcam, there will be microphones. Okay. But some laptops like Huawei, Lenovo Legion have different webcam position. Yeah, take note. And the second one is Wi-Fi card. Okay, this Wi-Fi card actually lets you to connect to your home Wi-Fi. Okay, and then you can surf internet from there lah. Okay, so nothing fancy about Wi-Fi card lah, but my advice is at least get a laptop that supports Wi-Fi 5 GHz. Okay, what means the 802.11 AC protocol. At least get 5 GHz. Okay, and having Wi-Fi 6, which is AX Wi-Fi, will be much better because nowadays Wi-Fi 6 will be more and more mainstream. Okay, and modern laptops also come with Bluetooth functionality. Mostly if you come lah, even for those budget laptops. One is ports and connectivity. So this include your USB, what's it called? The USB-A, the Type-C, USB-A, HDMI, SD card, headphone jack, the charging port, okay, etc., etc. Okay. Also nothing fancy here, but you will need good port selection in 2022. It's quite updated lah, quite updated compared to last decade already. And your laptop must have at least one USB port. What I mean is that USB-A, this one, the big one. Okay, at least have one, because some laptops doesn't have it. Yeah, and at least one of them must be USB 3.0. 3.0 is much faster than the older 2.0, 1.1 is much faster. And having at least one Type-C port, okay, and one memory card reader like SD card, micro SD card, okay, is recommended. Modern laptop will have HDMI ports, while some still use old VGA port. You guys saw that before, right? VGA port, the blue one, the long one, okay. But in 2020, just aim for the HDMI port because VGA is just too old. And if you don't have any internet port, it's all right because your Wi-Fi card is good enough. Okay, even if you want a port, you can just go and buy an adapter. It's available in Lazada and Shopee. Okay, that's cost I think it's quite cheap now. Okay. Another one is battery. Battery is also quite important here. If you have no charger, if you have no charger around. Okay. So there are actually three main focus of the battery. The first one is battery time. The second one is battery capacity. Okay, and the last one is maximum charging power. Okay, so battery time actually indicates how long your laptop can stay on by only relying on the fully charged battery. It's like, okay, charging your battery to 100 and then use until it reaches 0%. Okay, typically it's measured in hours lah. Like when you go shop for a laptop, mostly the seller will say, okay, this Acer can support up to 12 hours. There Asus can support up to 8 hours. That one is battery time, and battery time is actually very significantly based on your usage. Like those 8 hours and 12 hours battery time, right? It's actually for very light usage, like looking through your PDF. Okay, but if you use to, let's say, use to game, you used to edit the video, that 12 hours can be reduced to less than 1 hour. Yeah, because it's much more power consuming. So it will just go haywire lah in terms of battery time. And battery capacity is how much power your battery can hold, and is measured in 1 hour. And the higher the 1 hour value, the more power can be hold, and the longer your battery time is lah. It's just like phone. Okay. The last one is maximum charging power, where it shows the maximum power your battery can take to charge it up. It's the same concept like phone, right? Now we got what Qualcomm to charge 3.0, 4.0, Huawei supercharge. Yeah, something like that. And we can determine the charging power by looking at our charger. Okay, mostly they will state, okay, how many wattage it can take. And normal laptop will have 65, some have 45. Okay, for a low power one charger. While gaming laptop and or those content creation ones might need more than 120 watts. And some state-of-the-art laptop needs two chargers. That's normal actually, because the internet is very power consuming. Okay, the higher the wattage of the charger, the faster your battery will charge up. And in fact, nowadays some laptops like phone have fast charging technology already, like Dell, okay, Asus. But the thing is that they are expensive lah. If you ask me, got fast charging or not, it's alright. Okay, because the laptops nowadays can actually charge faster than before already. Yeah, because like 65 watt is actually quite a lot lah. Okay, and the last one is other parts and features lah. It's actually not that important, but it's also quite important. Okay, so all the other required parts include speakers, mousepad, keyboard. Okay, this one is just essential, but there's nothing to talk about. Okay, and the last one is operating system like Windows. Okay, but take note lah, some laptops don't have operating system. They will give you Windows only. Means your laptop will be blank lah. You need to install an OS by your own. Okay. And there are some additional features, like if you heard it before, like keyboard backlight, like your keyboard has light, so that you can see in the dark. Fingerprint scanner, yeah, some have it. Chassis size, is it your laptop thin enough, or you want the thick one, or you want the thin one? Yeah, same thing. Yeah, touchscreen capabilities. Some laptops like Asus, the latest one is the VivoBook Flip. Yeah, VivoBook Flip is support touchscreen. And any free software like Microsoft Office. Okay, so actually they are optional. You can take them into account if you want, or if you don't want, just get rid of it. Okay, but each additional feature will come with a cost lah. Okay, if you make your laptop more expensive a bit. Okay, and after talking for so long, we are done for now actually, and let's go to the next step. Okay, let's go back to step 5. Okay. Just now you heard everything already. Okay, you go and find your laptop. Okay, after you find it, gather them and analyze your finding. So how how you can gather and analyze? You can actually use Excel. Okay, Excel. But by using Excel, you can have a better idea on all specifications on each laptop, because you are listing it out one by one. Okay, and it also lets you to compare between all laptops easily. Okay. Let me show you how easily it is, like this. Okay, for example, you have 2 laptops. Okay, one is Realme Book laptop, is quite new now, and the Asus VivoBook Flip 40 is also quite new. So here, the left side here is your laptop specification. Like as you can see, a CPU name, product line surface, clock speed, clock count, RAM, GPU, storage, and whatever. Okay, so when you are searching for a laptop, right, they will give you the specification. Okay, drop down those specification into the column. Like for example, for the Realme, it has Core i7. Okay, its something is G7. Okay, it has turbo boost. Is using M.2 NVMe. It's using IPS. Jot them down. Okay, same goes to the Asus VivoBook, and then compare them. Like check which one is better. Okay, like for example here, Realme has one USB port only. I mean the USB-A, but the VivoBook has 2. Okay, so for the better one, you can use green color to highlight them, and for the worst one, you can use red color lah. Okay, same goes to other, like battery capacity. Realme one is higher than VivoBook, and charging power too. Okay, it has power. He has the fast charging. Okay, and same goes to chassis size and other features. So other features, as I mentioned just now, like fingerprint scanner, battery keyboard, free Microsoft Office. Okay, just jot them down, and you can see which one you think you want. Okay, which one you think you want? Like let's say I don't want fingerprint scanner, I want stylus pen. Yeah, can go for it. Okay, choose this, and set your price. Okay, for the price, right? Don't how to say that? Don't expect like I have 2,000 ringgit budget, but I want to get the state-of-the-art laptop. It doesn't work that way lah. Okay, each price range got their own laptop specification. Okay, like 3,000 something will be like a budget gaming laptop. 5,000 something will be like advanced a bit. Okay, maybe like a content creation laptop, and 1,000 something is budget laptop. Yeah, and finally, you can go and see, is it worth it? Okay, is it worth it? Like if it's worth it, then just go and buy lah. If it's not worth it, you can either search for another one to do the same thing, compare, and see if it's worth it. Okay. So the final step is after after you have decided you want the laptop, you can buy it. Or better, try it first, okay? Go to the physical shop, try it first. If it's okay, proceed. Okay, if it's not okay, go for the next one. Okay, like let's go back to here. We have two, right? Let's say I don't like Rumi's design. Okay, I can go for Atsu VivoBook. But the thing is that make sure it satisfies your needs lah. Okay, if it's not satisfying your needs, there's no point to buy. You just waste a lot of money lah. And yeah, that's done, and that's how I choose a laptop. And I think you should follow this way to choose a laptop lah. Okay. So before we end our session, what to watch out while choosing a laptop? Actually, there are three main mistakes that people will always get into lah. The first one is buying cheap laptops without doing any research. Yeah, there are quite a lot. I have a lot of friends like, hey Mike, this laptop 1,000 ringgit only. I need to buy lah. Performance or no performance, I don't care lah. Those are, I don't know what to say because budget budget laptops usually don't come with powerful and updated. Like as I said in the beginning, mostly mostly those 1,000-something laptops have like Intel Atom or Intel Celeron CPU. That is much more weaker, and they might not satisfy your need lah. So how? It's best to get hardworking lah and compare the laptop specification with your need, like what I do just now. Okay, trust me, you won't regret doing it. It takes a lot of time, yeah, but it will worth it. Yeah, it will worth it. The second one is only focusing on one specification. The most famous one. My friends say adding RAM is more important because adding RAM can make my computer faster. But why? I already add like 20 gigs already, but it's still very slow. Because here, right? Yeah, adding RAM can let you open more Chrome tabs, and it can let you open like multiple games, more RAM. But the thing is that your CPU, if your CPU is underpowered, it won't cope up. So from here, we can know that we need to find a balanced laptop. Okay, don't focus on one specification. Okay, focus on everyone, like your CPU, your RAM, your graphic card. Okay, balance it out. Okay, if they are balanced, they will work perfectly. Okay, and you will save a lot of money. Most importantly, yeah, I had tried. I tried when I built my desktop. Okay, I used 32 gigs of RAM. That is quite a lot, yeah. And I only use a Ryzen 5 3600X. It's not powerful. Yeah, it's not powerful lah. So for 32 gigs of RAM, like to be honest, now the maximum memory I use is only like 24 gigs only. Yeah, and that is for doing assignment. Yeah, and the last one is don't let portability lead your way. Like you know, right? There are actually a lot of ultrabook like those very thin one, Asus Swift 5, Swift 7, Asus Zenbook, very thin, right? But the thing is that because they are so thin, they can handle heat. Okay, it's so thin. Okay, they can handle heat. Thus, they don't come with higher power internals. So as I said, they will come with U series CPU. It's quite low powered lah. And even if they can even if they like house those H series, G series CPU, their body design, as I mentioned just now, does not allow them to dissipate heat well. Okay, because the heating solution inside, I mean the copper pipe, is very thin. It's quite less. Okay. And for this ultrabook, right, taking light task is actually okay. Like if you want to type some assignment, you want to watch a movie, it's more than okay. Yeah, but if you want to do something like you want to game for 2 hours, or you want to edit a 8K video, for a whole day, it just won't keep it up because it will go hotter and hotter and hotter, and your performance will eventually decrease due to something called thermal throttle. Okay, and what is thermal throttle, you will say? So actually heat is bad for all electronics. Okay, heat can degrade electronics faster than you imagine. Okay, so thermal throttling is actually a thing that it prevents your CPU or your graphics card GPU from getting too toasty, like let's say CPU and GPU, if they get hot enough, they can go over 90 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it's normal. They can go way hotter than that. And to prevent them from dying, thermal throttler has to key in, okay, by limiting their performance. And by limiting their performance, their heat output will come down, and the laptop will run cooler. So basically, thermal throttling is protecting your CPU, but the thing is that you're getting less performance. The more you know. Okay, so I guess that's all for me now. Okay, any question? You can jot your questions in the chat box. Okay, and I will try and reply lah, one by one.
You can also turn on your mic if you have any questions.
Yeah. Feel free to talk. Yeah. Like if you don't understand something, okay, I can explain further now. Please send the link. Oh, okay. For this one, right? Later I will send my presentation slide, okay, to this chat box. Okay, you guys can download it lah. And if you guys want to refer it, next time, you can just open it and refer it lah. Okay. Li Xuan, if I had known this in my first year, I would not have to wait few K of it. But actually, for university student, right, it's actually quite normal to get the wrong laptop. Like you don't know what are you going to use. Like let's say for first year, I assume you are SWE, right? Yeah, for SWE we only know like we need to code. Okay, using code blocks only. Yeah, it's quite simple, but we don't know when we are going up. Okay, in the future years, okay, we need to use Unity. We need to use Premiere Pro. Yeah, we don't know that, so it's quite normal. So yeah. Hi Mac. I guess I mentioned we talked about Windows today, but for Mac, right, actually it's just the same. And for Mac, right, it uses Intel CPU, and the same thing applies lah, like for the suffix, for the family name, for the performance, core count, something like that. It's just the same lah. Same goes to RAM, same goes to RAM storage. Okay, and for Mac, right, especially MacBooks, there are quite a lot of features. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, there are quite a lot of features like touchpad. One is the touch bar. Okay, the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and something. Yeah, that's why we consider it as optional features. Like if you want, just get it. If you don't want, you can set some bucks and get rid of it. Yeah. Any? Let me share my slide to you here. Okay. How much available space can we build our laptop where compared to normal desktop? Okay. How I say this? Okay. Compared to laptop, actually can hold can have power because so for the desktop, right, the manufacturer will mostly focus on power performance. Like for example, my desktop, I'm using Ryzen 5 3600X. Okay, but if I want to use this CPU to compare with, let's say, mobile version like Ryzen 5 3500U, it's night and day, because laptops are for portability and desktop are for performance. And another key point is that thermals. What means that the heat output. Desktop, why I say is that because in desktop we can like put those big coolers, yeah, but for laptop it's fixed, and since it's small, its thermal is limited. So So if you want to go for performance, either you get a gaming laptop, because the gaming laptop is still is better than normal laptop now, because it's used HCV CPU. Or else, if you want to go even further, just get a desktop now, like I do. Just get a desktop. But all in all, it just depends on your usage lah. Yeah. I hope I answer your question. And another thing I want to mention is that for the price, as per my experience, building desktop is cheaper than getting a laptop. Yeah, I mean, can we upgrade our laptop like we do in desktop? For CPU, no, because CPU is sorted. Okay, CPU use something like ball grid array, where the CPU die, the chip will be sorted into the motherboard. Yeah. They are gaming laptop which let you to swap CPUs, but those laptops are very expensive. You heard Alienware, right? They can do that. Yeah, and other than CPU, like RAM, storage, mostly they can, unless for RAM, unless they say on board lah. But mostly for gaming laptops, they won't limit your RAM availability. Okay, mostly they will limit you when you are. And for the GPU, same thing, you cannot change it lah, like desktop, because desktop, like you know, right? We can just throw in RTX 3090 Ti. Okay, for the CPU we can just throw in extra Ripple. Yeah, but that's not the case in laptop lah. Yeah. Any more question?
Any of the other members have any question to ask Mike on the laptop? Or if you are too shy and you want to ask him privately, maybe you can just contact him via his social media, Facebook and Instagram here. Yeah. Then actually, if you guys have any, like, okay, let's say I'm a SWE student and like I know I want to get a new laptop now and I have a budget of like 3K and I have whatever requirements now, and maybe you can state down your own situation and like Mike can give you advice accordingly.
Yeah. Because choosing laptop is all about your requirements. If you get your requirements, right, you can you can let me know. Okay, let me know your requirements. Okay, and I can go around and recommend a laptop for you. So if there is no question, I guess that's all for me today. Yeah, so if you want to ask more on how to get a good laptop, a good laptop, you can find me at my Facebook and my Instagram, and also my Teams. You know my name, right? My Guanpei. Okay, you can find me, and you can ask more about this now. And also, I have uploaded the PDF file into this chat box. You guys can download it. Okay. No need to credit me lah. If you want to use for anything else, no need to credit me lah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's it for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Also, no worries if you want to watch back the recording. It will be posted on our YouTube channel after this event. So you can always like go back to the video and like see what Mike's advice are on like choosing a right laptop. Okay, so I guess that will be the end of our session. Thank you very much, Mike, for the wonderful session, and it's definitely very insightful. Mike gave advice to me before I bought my new laptop too. Hehe. So, and I guess that's all from this session. One last question would be, if any of the members are not in our WeChat group, do let us know and we will add you in, because the latest updates will be always posted there, and as well as our social media. And stay tuned for our future events, as we will be having a very exciting Python programming workshop very soon. Just stay tuned for the registration form very soon, I promise. Okay, that's all for this session. You guys may leave now and take care, stay safe.